Hi guys, James at Bespoke Airsoft here, and in this video we're looking at the awesome SMG that is the G&G SMG-9. So yes, this SMG has come up with a little bit of controversy, mainly anger at G&G not sort of releasing a UK spec G&G SMC-9, because these can kick out a little bit higher FPS than usual, or what we're used to in the UK. First of all, you'll see the box, very nice box here, very well presented. In the box you're getting the gun, the 50 round extended magazine. You're also getting an extra back strap which has an extra hop tool included as well. You're also getting a speed loader and a QD sling swivel point, as well as an unjamming rod, clean rod, and then the extensive manual that G&G tend to offer with their products too. So first impressions, I mean, when I reviewed the GT P9 pistol, I was really disappointed. It wouldn't really perform well. I couldn't really get a full mag of gas out of it on one fill. Bear in mind it was much colder then. You will have to apologise today if you hear the fan that's pointing at my face. It's essential. Currently in this office it's about 36 degrees here in the UK, so I'm on my second shower, my third pair of clothes, trying to film this review for you. But I've just stuck a fan there. If you do hear it, I apologise, but it's just that hot it's needed, otherwise I am just going to melt into the floor. So the SMC-9 GTP9 lower frame here, which is found on the pistol. I'll just show you how easy this thing comes apart. You just take it apart like so. So I'm going to charge the handle, and then the lower half comes out. That's exactly the same as the lower half that's on your GTP9, and it just slides into the SMC-9, which uses like a more SMG style bolt system, so it is a lot more efficient. I believe that this gun far precedes the GTP9 pistol. Of course it will. You get a 50 round box, you get a longer in a barrel, you get an SMG style bolt, which makes the thing very snappy and very cool on full auto as well. But moving on, we've got a rubber style stock pad here. We've got a polymer stock and hinge system that you see here. Then the upper receiver of the SMC-9 and the rail section on the front here is CNC'd aluminium, with the frame being polymer, just much like the GTP9 pistol. We've got a metal outer barrel, metal flash hider. This SMC-9 does include the same system as the GTP9, where you can take this funky tool out the bottom of the grip, you can slide it into the front of the flash hider there, and whether you turn it clockwise or anti-clockwise, you can advance or reduce the hop, giving you more or less range. The construction on this thing is really, really good. The machine and everything is really crisp. The finish that they've put into the anodizing or paint, I'm not really too sure, it looks like anodizing to me. Again, it's finished really well. The logos and such that are put on here with the like a laser etcher, very clean and crisp like that. The iron sights that it comes with are very nice and snappy when you put them up and down, and the adjustment on them is absolutely superb, which you'll get to see a little bit later on in the action test. You've got a ambidextrous controls with the trigger, the mag release, the bolt release. However, the bolt release is very difficult to operate when the ejection port cover is closed on either side. The charging handle is non-reciprocating, and what that means is when you're firing the SMC-9 and the bolt is cycling, the charging handle doesn't move, so you can use the charging handle to charge the SMC-9. I've got a mag with a little bit of gas in it. It's a 50 round magazine, and we'll just try this on semi-auto and you'll see it doesn't move at all. As you'll see there, it's very snappy. You've got a polymer ejection style cover on the right hand and left hand side. You can switch round which way you want it to open with a little nub here. You can remove that as well if you don't want it to open at all. That's completely up to you. What I will say is when using the SMC-9, you just have to make sure that you don't close this while the bolt's to the rear, because as you let the bolt come forward, it's going to hit this little plastic piece here that you switch to either side, it will jam the bolt up. So make sure the only time you ever close this, if it's engaged, is when the bolt is forward. You've got a QD sling swivel point on the left hand side of the rifle here, and I believe you can switch it around with this cover and have it on the right side if you want to. There's no QD points on the stock or anywhere near there, but you do have a nice thick angular metal piece here which either pins to hold the stock on. That can be used as a sling swivel point as well. The stock can be folded very easily by pressing the button on the left hand side, and it is held in place with a magnet, and it's going absolutely nowhere, which gives it a much more compact silhouette if you want to sort of carry this thing in a game and have it nice and short. If you're doing CQB, perfect. When the stock is extended, the one thing I did notice for the taller guys out there, the bigger guys like myself, I would probably ask for just one more level of adjustment, just perhaps another inch or so. Just hold it out a little bit further, pulling it in here and pulling it and cheeking it when you obviously got the iron sights up. It did feel like I was over the gun a little bit more than what I am with other platforms. My MP7 isn't on the wall at the moment because it's been fixed, it's broke. But you have the adjustment with that where you can just pull it out one more notch and away you go. In regards to the gun wall, you're going to see some guns that you haven't seen before. Obviously the SVD is going to have an update video coming up. You'll obviously see that's been through some changes, as well as the QRF. We'll have some interesting videos on that coming up later on the YouTube channel, so make sure you stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't already. So let's get a closer look at this thing. Let's take an in-depth look at all the details, and I'll go through all the controls with you so you can see them a little bit easier. Then we'll get to the chrono accuracy test, and then we'll get to the conclusion. Here it is, guys, the SMC-9. Just like I said earlier in the video, we've got a polymer frame, much like the GTP9. We've got a polymer stock and hinge here. We've got a completely CNC'd upper receiver and front rail segment here, which are screwed together. We've got a metal bolt, SMG style bolt inside, and a longer outer barrel compared to the GTP9, which houses their cool little quick style adjustment hop system there. The magazine that you get with this pistol is a 50 round metal magazine with metal feed lips at the top there, and we have a nice plastic bumper on the bottom to protect it if it does fall out or you eject your magazines. You can charge this spring down the bottom here and lock it in place, but you have to feed the rounds in from the top. You can't feed them from the bottom. Onto the SMC-9. We can actually remove the lower very easily, like so, just to take a closer look. So you can see here we've got ambidextrous controls with the bolt release, the trigger safety, and then we've actually got a manual safety which is found just there, pushed from either side. Ambidextrous magazine release as well. Very nicely constructed there. Very easy to put back on. You do have to make sure that the gun is cocked and the hammer's back for the lower to do this, but very easy. Just have to pull that latch back down like so, and away we go. You can see here the dust covers, the non-reciprocating charging handle, and this little plastic piece you see just here can be switched to either side to have either side open. If we can open this side, there we go, and you just screw it onto there. The fire selector is found at the rear here, so when the bolt is forward, obviously when you're empty you can't change it, and you'll see here what I mean about if you're right-handed and you've got that side bolt open, you can't really get to the slide release all that well, but you can power stroke it. So this is on semi-auto at the moment, push through to that side, and then we can turn it round and that's full auto. M-lock rail sections for all your accessories, QD sling swivel here, and I think there's a QD sling swivel hidden under this plate which you can swap over to each side. Iron sights are made out of metal and are very easy. Fold the stock here so this is easier. You can fold the stock with the dust cover up as well. Very easy to manipulate and use, and great sort of feedback off them when you're adjusting them, and they don't seem to knock about so easy and lose your zero, so very, very good indeed. The outer barrel here, I believe it's 14mm counterclockwise threaded, but we will need to confirm that. And then what you can do is you can take the hop tool out of the grip there, slide it into the front, and then you can rotate it clockwise or anti-clockwise, and then it's just spring loaded. Pop it back into place. Nice markings throughout. Very nice indeed. So let's get this bad boy chronoed and let's do an accuracy test. I'm really interested to see what this comes out in. Green gas, 0.2 gram BBs for the chrono test. Of course, it is very hot here, like I've said previously. And then for the accuracy test, I'm using the same green gas. I'll have just topped the magazine up, and then using 0.3 gram. Both BBs that I'm using are Aries branded, 0.2 and 0.3 gram BBs, non-bios. So just to reiterate that these are 0.2 gram BBs, this is green gas. The distributor recommends you use Abbey Ultra with this because on green gas it can be a little warmer. Today it is about 32 degrees, probably a little bit warmer inside, so let's see what this thing does. So a few warm shots there, followed by some decent shots, followed by some warm shots again. This is a fresh mag of green gas, so it's full to the top. 0.2 gram BBs. I imagine using Abbey Ultra with this, it'd probably be about 330 to 340ish. But these are the results I got, and it is very hot at the moment in the UK. Range of 15 metres now, zoomed in on the camera. 0.3 gram BBs green gas. I have no idea where the hop's set, so I may miss the first couple of shots. I'm going to be going for the top target. Of course, if I'm off, I will adjust the aim and carry on. So the sights are just a little bit low, so let's bring that down a few notches. To be honest, the iron sights are pretty much bang on, just shooting a little bit low, so let's readjust that. Yeah, we're right on the money. These iron sights are really good. As you can see there, I'm absolutely drilling the centre of that target with these iron sights. I don't think I've ever witnessed iron sights like this set out the box. I haven't touched the rear one, that's exactly where it is. The front one I've just knocked down a few notches because it was flying a little bit low. But I'm so impressed. I'm literally just putting the sights on the middle of the target at 15 metres, and you can see how well I'm doing there. Let's carry on. I'm just going to knock it down one more notch, see if that improves it. It is a very short stock. And well, the results speak for themselves, don't it? So that's 0.3 gram BBs at 15 metres, standing from a firing position. I'm not even the most stable of people, I have shaky hands. Just trying to keep the iron sights. I don't know if you're going to see this. I have to excuse the workshop at the moment, but the iron sights that I'm using, literally, the peep sight at the back is quite big. But no, delightfully surprised with that. Obviously it's punching out a little bit more than your average guns, but you know, we'll see what happens if G&G do anything with the velocity on these things, but we'll get back on camera and we'll conclude. So you can see there on the chrono, the FPS was a little bit high for the UK limits. Now I was using green gas. The highest I managed to get out of it was about 380-ish, 385. It was on a full charge of gas, and it is extremely hot in the UK here at the moment. We're undergoing like a bit of a heat wave. It's very humid. The temperature outside at the moment is about 30 to 32 degrees, depending on where you are in the country. In this office at the moment and in the garage, it's probably a little bit higher. You're probably sort of looking between 32 and 36. Like being there for like 2 minutes, you're just absolutely dripping with sweat because it's that hot here. So normal UK weather, much milder, sort of the 18 to 20 degrees. Obviously this is going to come in a little bit lower. Of course, the distributor recommends using this with Abbey Ultra here in the UK, and saying that green gas will tip it over the edge in much warmer temperatures. I mean, for the guys watching in the US, because we do have US viewers now, and around Asia and such places where you can have higher FPS, this is going to be perfect for you guys. Just under 400, depending on what type of gas you use. If you use a little bit higher power gas, you will get more. So if you guys are looking at those kind of limits, this is perfect for yourself. They just haven't really catered to the UK market as of yet. First time we managed to test this outdoors, we were really surprised by the range of this thing. We were unable to hop, well, we were over hopping 0.3s. We just put 0.3s in it straight away. We thought we had the hop to the lowest setting because it stopped clicking. And the 0.3s were just going skyward. What we actually found, you could actually turn it a lot more, and there's a bit of backlash basically in the hop-up design. So just turn it all the way back so it's completely off, and then go through the clicks on. And then once we'd found that out, you've got a good broad range from anywhere from 0.2s up to 0.4s if you wanted to run those. So very good adjustment on the hop. The accuracy though, as you'll see from the video just a minute ago, all I did was I popped the iron sights up, I fired a few rounds on target, found that they were dropping perhaps like an inch lower than they should be, and I just kept adjusting this front iron sight down, and what that was doing was just bringing where it was firing level with the iron sights. And then after that, I mean, the results speak for itself. You're looking at an inch and a half grouping once it's dialed in, and that's not even with the hop set at all. So you could get absolutely amazing results out of this. I would probably recommend some type of grip to hold this, because when I was firing it, I don't know, perhaps I was holding it a bit too far forward, but I was really struggling to place my left hand in a way that felt natural and comfy to me. And again, this might be a personal thing, so if you find it comfy, then that's absolutely fine. But I would probably find like an angle grip maybe, just to give a bit more purchase on the front of the SMG there, just so you can pull it back into the shoulder and make sure it's nice and stable while you're firing it. The 50 round magazine is very well made. It seems to be good on gas efficiency. Not the best, but not bad by any means. I do like the fact they've put metal followers on top of the magazines, and one of the main breakages of followers on gas operated airsoft products is when people pull the thing down to the bottom and then they let it fly up, and as it shoots up, it hits the plastic followers and it breaks them off. And with the metal followers, that's going to be more resilient to that happening. You can pull this follower all the way down and lock it into the bottom, and then feed it from the top and make it a little bit easier. You cannot feed it from the bottom like many other brands. It doesn't have the sort of enlarged opening for a BB to pass through. You have to feed them in from the top. You do get a nice sort of plastic buffer here just to protect the magazine a little bit. What I did find as well was I was having to pull down this follower here, tap the base plate off to gas it, because the needles on the gas bottles weren't long enough with this base plate to properly charge the magazine. Not a massive issue, it takes like a couple of seconds to put it back on, but it's got to be mentioned. So overall, for an SMG like this, I think it's absolutely amazing. Depending where you get it from, it's in the market between $250 and $290. I think we had them up for about $289.99, but people have done them, other shops have done them cheaper than that. And I think that's a really good price, because if you're sort of looking at the closest competitors to this type of thing, like your MP7s, your MP9s, they do tend to be in that ballpark, if not more expensive, depending on which brand you go for. Tokyo MP7s, for instance, are quite expensive for what they are. So if you're looking for something a little bit more wacky, a little bit more modern looking and fresh than an average MP7, because they are quite common out there, this is going to be right up your street. So I hope you've enjoyed this review. I've had a blast with the SMC-9. Will I pick one up? I think maybe in the future, but G&G really needs to sort out their bolts with coming into the UK. They need to do a UK spec bolt that brings the FPS down to nice safe levels, so you could use it absolutely anywhere in CQB or whatever like that. They also need to provide backup with the magazines, because the magazines are really hard to get hold of. The distributors are always out of stock, G&G are always out of stock. So I think any airsoft company, if they were ever to come across this video, the most important thing when you're doing these guns, you've got to make the magazines available, especially when they're a proprietary magazine and you can't go out there and just grab anything else off the shelf and have it fit. All that being said, I've had a blast with the SMC-9. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I'm really baking in this office, so I want to get out and cool down and have some water or something. So I will see you in the next video. Keep an eye out for the SVD update. We've got the QRF update. Those will be really interesting. We've got an M45 update as well. We've got the PRK9 coming in as well for a review. We've got more stuff to review. There's loads of things coming in, guys. Just bear with me, because it is absolutely roasting and it is not a comfortable experience to film these things during this heat wave. So I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, make sure you're well hydrated, don't get sunburnt, you know, all that good stuff. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.